All right, for strange happenings, a couple of things lately that more personal than anything. And sorry about bags under the eyes or anything. My allergies have gone crazy. Just finished weeding in the yard, and it's gone crazy. Anyway, a couple of things happening lately. They just kind of hit me in a certain way. Um, first, one of the last strange happenings, two strange happenings back, I was down at the Pink House. I happened to be down there instead of sitting here in this room like I normally do. And I was talking about hearing the screaming in my head. This past week, for about 4 days straight, it was like, it was a bit rough, if you want to call it that. It was like screaming in my head, like a lady screaming, and there's a young girl. There's a lot of dust in the air, like concrete kind of dust or ash. It's like concrete dust is alkaline, the alkaline dust. I could smell it, and it was like even on my teeth, like fuzz on my teeth, because breathing it in and burning my throat. And that was about 4 days. I kept hearing it in my head this, and it's always the same person, this one lady. Then there's her child, but the lady. And even breathing in, burning in my throat a little bit for about 4 days. And it was hard to get through that. It wasn't me, nothing to do with me. It was something else. And it's still kind of there in the background, but I'm dealing with it. But it seemed like she was in a residential area with concrete buildings, and it was the concrete dust. Concrete buildings collapsing. And so that's pretty much all I put out there. I talked about tasting it, could feel the grit on my teeth, the fuzz on my teeth kind of from breathing it in, this concrete dust, this alkaline dust. And that had happened, like, started off real strong one day, and then it got a little less each day until about the fourth day I was able to push it away pretty good. And I didn't give all the details on there of what I was seeing. I was seeing a lady, 6th-floor building. She's on the left-hand side of it, out front on the left-hand side, looking at it at a corner view, and the front right-hand side had collapsed in. Now, me down at the Pink House trying to describe this, I didn't go into all this description just like I just did, but that is what I was seeing, and I could feel from her that it wasn't due to a war, because the first thing I thought when I saw this collapsed part of the building was the Ukraine war, Ukraine-Russia war, that this is a bomb hitting it. But I didn't feel that at all. I didn't feel that. There were other buildings standing. I didn't feel earthquake. It's like it just collapsed, and that's so impossible. That doesn't happen. Buildings don't just collapse. So I didn't put all that detail out there about the multi-story. I did say it was residential, concrete dust. It collapsed. That's about all I put out. And I posted it here on the video site a day or two before the building actually did collapse. And here's a picture I just pulled off the internet just to show you that building. Now, the funny thing is I did not see the red color of the building. I saw that building just like it was, that the collapsed part was a little to the right of center. I saw all of that exact building, exactly as it was. The lady standing out front to the left-hand corner of the building, far away, not far away, but a good view of it, and just screaming. And I was like, but I did not see the red color. And I guess my question is, just wondering, just questioning, if you actually remote view through someone else's eyes that is colorblind, do you see the color or not? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, do you see color as you would see it, or are you seeing colors as they see it? I don't know. That was the odd thing. I didn't see that intense red color. Everything was kind of muted. So I don't know. It's so odd. I don't know. Question. Anyway, that kind of hit me a little bit because in the past I've put out videos here. I've talked to Corin Swain about it, about seeing through walls is what I call it. Used to be flat surfaces, seeing through flat surfaces to other places. And then I mentioned to Corin Swain, probably got like 9 months ago now, 10 months ago, that now it's like all the time. And this was the all the time pieces. Like everything is a flat surface now. cube around me, the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Reality around me is just a flat surface, and there's so much more beyond it. And my mind is seeing that, and it's stuff all the time. Now, on this one that I talked about that I couldn't get out of my head, it was so strong. I'm wondering if the lady was like me, kind of like that first incident that I had in college, that about the girl screaming that she can hear voices in her head, and then this, that she's a little like me. Only this went through time. It had to have gone through time for me to see that building like a week in advance. So I don't know. I've talked about seeing into the future a little bit before. Even in my book, one of the examples I gave, I believe it was in college days, in the college part of my book, talking about, I called them Eric and Tina. Their real names were Charles and Kathy. That he was a telepath, and I saw a little future when they were going to leave a party and had been drinking, that they should stop at the light. Do not go when it turns green. Do not go when it turns green. Sit there. Do not go. If you go, somebody's going to run the light and T-bone you if you go. So when you get to a light that's red and you've stopped at it and it turns green, do not go. And I told him that. And at another party later, they came back and thanked me because that exact thing happened. He was a telepath, so we could kind of hear what's going on in each other's head. We started sharing dreams. I've talked about that before. It's in the book. That really happened. That really happened. That I put in. Those things in the book really happened. I've just changed the names in the book, but on these videos I tell you their real names, and that's Charles and Kathy. So seeing a little advance in the future, yeah, it does happen with me, and this was one of those with this building. So that kind of hit a little personal, and I do see a lot of things all the time in my brain, and even way back when. The funny thing is you can intervene, like with Charles and Kathy, and intervened and told them about it, and they did not go when the light changed and the car blew past the red light, ran the light, and it would have T-boned them if they had not sat there like I suggested to them. It's like, just sit there, do not go. And they did that, and everything was okay. If they had gone, they would have been in that wreck. But on some other occasions, when I see things like that and I want to intervene and do something about it, sometimes I get this impression in my head. It's just like, no, leave this, not this one. This has to go through like it's going to happen, whether it's something really bad or whatever. It's like, cannot interfere in this one. No. And I get that impression. I know. You get that impression. It's weird. But sometimes when I see future things that I could change, sometimes it's no. Just a no on it. And you have to sit back there and watch as it happens. So I don't know. That's the premonition part thing I put out there, and it just rattled me a little bit because it was so strong, and I did not see the red color of the building. It was muted. So I guess that was my question. If you see through someone else's eyes and they're colorblind, do you see color? That's the first thing. Second thing that kind of rattled me is earlier this week. And actually, this has been about 2 weeks ago, not 1 week, probably about 2 weeks ago. Kind of rattled me is a dream. Just had a dream. Okay. I guess people have repeating dreams. I have a repeating dream. Only this one is, I'm in full-blown terror mode. Terror. I'm in my house. My wife is sleeping in the bed. I'm up. And I'm at the bed trying to get her to wake up, and she won't wake up. And I'm trying to scream at her, and sounds are not coming out of my mouth. And I am trying to get her up because I can look back and see the front door is open. And I'm trying to say, they are in the house. And that's what I'm trying to scream to her, is they are in the house. I've had this is a repeating, and it's full-blown terror. The thing is, I shouldn't react like that, but it was biological, just like a biological fear, something super instinctual, biological. I can't get away from it because I've heard sounds outside all the time. Sounds like knocking on the front door, and I go check, nobody's there. A lot of times I've gone outside and just walked outside, checking around the house, walking around the house looking. In some cases where it seemed more certain that somebody's there, or I felt that somebody was there, I have a handgun I take around, and I'll do good trigger discipline and all that, and walk around and checking inside and out with a handgun. So you just do that. It's not a big deal. So to be that terrified and panicked to the point where words can't come out of your mouth, and you're trying to say they are in here, and it's like, who is they? I don't know what that is, but it's a straight biological response, and I've had that before. The other thing that happened that same night, other dream, I consider that a dream. Another dream is almost like being somewhere else, with other people milling around doing things, other people, I guess, and then lifting up off the ground. And what I've heard my mentor say in the past, being in liquid light, it's like pastel, rainbow, not rainbow colors, there's so many more colors, but it's like being in a liquid of various light, almost like you see oil sheen on the water, but this is thick. It's like you're in a liquid, but it's colors moving, like very colored inks that don't mix in water, and the inks are just swirling and moving. It's very faint and light colored and light in there, and it felt great. I mean, really just pure love, like pure love in that liquid light floating in it. And then I started seeing faces, different types of faces, and it was trying to touch the face without using hands or thought. It was touching them with your heart in a way I've never done before or tried before. And I've talked in the past on some of my things about feeling the cops up ahead, using your third eye and your heart together, merging them together to see and feel. This was only the heart, coming out of the heart area and using that almost like an arm or a hand or something to touch their face, but only with your heart. Never thought about that, never tried that, but that I think is what I was trying to be taught in a dream. It's kind of funny, but to actually touch someone, and it's not just feeling the person there with your heart, not just feeling them. This was actual reaching out with your heart, almost like caressing a face, like your heart is touching. It can feel the contours and feel the nose, but it's your heart that's touching their face and realizing that they're just like you. It's just another being. That's all there is. That's the same night. Full-blown terror, and then the opposite. That rattled me out a little bit. The full-blown terror part about they're in the house has happened before. This time it really rattled me. Shouldn't have. Shit. I'm almost 60 years old. Shouldn't have rattled me like that, but it did. To the point of where, I mean, we have locks on the doors, various locks and things like that on the doors. I got a step ladder and started leaning it up against the door on the inside. So if the door was open, it wouldn't make a loud sound and clatter. And if they're really there, wake me up or whatever. And I did that for probably about a little over a week, of putting a ladder against the inside of the door. It sounds stupid, but I did. It was that impactful, just too real, just way too real, in full-blown terror. And it was biological. It had no thought to it. There was no comprehension, nothing of reason why I should be doing this. No reason there whatsoever. Just pure panic, terror, to the point where sounds weren't coming out of my mouth when I'm trying to tell my wife, wake her up, and she won't wake up. And it's like they're in the house. So I'm not putting the ladder against the door anymore. I got over that, but that rattled me. Both of those rattled me pretty well. Just kind of a final thing, just I guess a third thing finally, is our friend Alina. She texted me and said there's going to be like a UFO paranormal convention in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Grapevine, coming up September 30th to October 1st. And so she invited me to join her and her friend at their table. He owns zombie gear and sets up tables and things like this. He paints and all kind of stuff. And then I could attend if I wanted. It's like, yeah, I can bring some books. And she said you could put them on the corner of our table, give them away or sell them or whatever I wanted. If I wanted to sell them, I'm like, no, I don't sell them. I'm not in that for power of money. I just don't want people to feel alone. So I'll give them away. I'll bring a couple hundred more books, a couple hundred more, and sign them all, and then just give them away there at the convention. So I always like visiting with Alina and everybody there. So that was nice of her to do that. So that's the plan for the future. Anyway.